That's right. It's called a work-life balance that this particular job really balances out on.
This one balances everything else.
I balance all the time at work. There's a lot of ladders. So
I hope you're not using balancing ladders because that's not how ladders work.
that's how some of them work. If you do it right. Don't tell OSHA. Seriously,
Don't tell OSHA.
Seriously, do not tell OSHA.
Okay, shh. I'm glad we're already not recording right now.
Do you balance them on your chin, or are you saying you're at the top balancing
he's a
on
mime.
them?
You're a mime for your job, Louse? That's what you do?
Yep, that's exactly it. No. I work in the mall. I work in everyone's mall. I go around the country. I make sure that those freestanding glass walls do not fall down. It's a dicey game.
Attaboy.
Freestanding glass. What are you talking about?
Mimes, dude. Like, you went on a mime tangent?
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, that was shame on me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Dude.
I'm sorry.
Donnie didn't mean to do that at all.
I didn't mean to do it to myself. I would never do that to myself.
You kind of did.
Dude, mime yourself into a box and I'll feel better about it.
Hey, speaking of boxes, Louse.
Mime your own business, Louse.
Oh, that was a good one. Back to the box talk. Back to the box talk. You guys know what is shaped like a box, yet pours beer out of it? Man, this is the worst job I'm ever doing. Yes, Rhyme. It is kind of beer in a box. On your every counter in America, we're talking about the SYNEK system here, which is our sponsor, again, for this particular episode. Again, the SYNEK, as we've talked about it before, is a fantastic growler adapter kit that gives you brewery fresh beer with a tap right on your counter, size of a Keurig. Fantastic stuff. It can keep your beer fresh for 2 weeks guaranteed and much, much more, depending on how fast you can drink a 64-ounce growler.
Absolutely.
And where can the good kids find one at if they do want to take a look at these beautiful SYNEK systems?
That is a very good question, Donnie. Where can they find one at?
You can go to synek.beer, and that's SYNEK.beer, and you can enter the promo code Brewmasters Club, one word, to get 25% off your order. That's a ton of smackers. In the list of smackers is how many smackers that is off? 25%. I don't get out of bed for 10%, but 20%, okay, now you got my attention. 25%, that's 100 smackers. That's a lot of money. I won't talk long about that because we are starting a little bit late, which is A-okay. But guys, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but last episode we went into the beer pretty heavy, right? I think that we went pretty far into the beer. We went deep in that foam, real deep. Oh, jeez. Oh, Jesus.
I like that. That's a pretty sweet title. Going deep into that foam.
Yep. So this year, and actually this week was relatively low on beer news, but there are some interesting little tidbits that I was able to scrape off the interwebs there. So I want to share those with you guys. But first, so welcome everybody to another episode of the Brewmasters Club cast. Here is what you have to look forward to in tonight's episode.
Don't tell OSHA. Seriously, don't tell OSHA. Seriously, do not tell OSHA.
You're a mime for your job, Louse? That's what you do?
Yep, that's exactly it.
The jackal!
The vacuum's having a wild party with the steamer.
Oh, boy. Yeah, no. I think I can handle this. It's Ryan, it's called the Fellowship of the Brewing.
I should say Red Hook has a great red and a great IPA.
Hook? Oh, sorry.
I was hoping for that too. I was going to say, I feel like we need more maple stouts.
You do realize Mellow Mushroom is not a place to order a PBR.
It's a zombie movie on a train. And it's the mag train.
No.
It's the mag train from like South Korea.
Or were they French zombies? Were they like rawr?
No, they were Korean. It was
Korean. Oh, it was Korean. Shit. Were they rawr? Like I don't know. How does that work?
In the yes. Lay down. Dog. Come here. Lay down. Hold on.
Ryan, you should probably do it, dude. He's just going to keep you asking. I really hope they change the name to Uncharted. Are we talking about a Harrison Ford on like a full penetration style? Indiana Jones?
Oh, come on. Yes. I was like, come on, Louse. This is me teeing it up for you, Louse. Ryan teeing it up for you. That's what it was. I guess it was both of us. We've lost Ryan.
Yeah, we got a Snazi army going on here. He's gone full Snazi. This is the Fourth Reich.
Louse. All right, so what the hell was that called? Mockingjay. What was the movie? To Catch Farts. Catch Fire.
To Catch Farts. That's where that went, right?
No, what was it? Hunger Games. Goddamn, Louse. Hunger Games.
Yeah,
Hunger Games franchise. So
you were the chosen one.
Yes. Louse man, what did you bring to the table?
Ooh, I actually forgot it. It's at the other table. This is a restricted area. Is this a drill or something? Negative. Fine by me. I hate drill. Ah!
You crazy mother.
Welcome to the official podcast of the Brewmasters Club, Craft Brews and Geek News. Sit back, pour yourself a pint, and let's get into it. Now here's the founder of the Brewmasters Club and your host, Donnie Gallagher.
Welcome to another episode of the Brewmasters Club podcast, official podcast. This is Craft Brews and Geek News. My name, of course, is Donnie. I'm joined tonight by two lovely and knowledgeable young beer drinkers. First off, Ryan, how are you, sir?
I'm slightly tipsy and having a great time tonight.
Having a great time. That's great. Get out of here, unicorn.
Unicorn?
What? You guys saw that too?
Glad I'm not the only one.
The other young bearded man to join us this evening is Mr. Louseman. How are you, sir?
Doing quite well. Having a good time, buddy.
All right. Well, good morning, craft beer fans. Let's go ahead and get into it.
Yeah.
As we do our famous and favorite segment, what are you drinking? What are you going to drink? Who wants to start us off? I just heard you guys crack a couple.
There's actually a dog barking in the background of my house, so
so
you heard Ryan crack a couple.
Is the dog drinking a beer?
Oh,
The dog's actually gone to the Miller Lite. I recommended it elsewhere, but he was not feeling it. So Russell Terrier.
I grabbed one I think we talked about maybe a long time ago from MIA Brewery. The Trappist or the Tourist Trap.
Oh, that's Louse's.
It is
old throwback, old throwy.
It is. It was at a Publix up in Wiki Wachi the other day. I picked a couple up. Still have some. It comes in at 10%. It's a triple brewed with blonde malts and a touch of candy sugar. So definitely delicious. And for a 10%er, you can't beat it.
After that episode, I went out and got some, and I loved it. And I said the same kind of thing. I was like, first off, it's a brilliant take on the Belgian, because I really am always. I'm still fascinated by Belgians. They're probably my most intrigued. You know, when I'm out and I see one, I'll grab one every time, because they pack so much flavor in there, and they're all so unique. They're, for the most part, pretty good when done right. So awesome. That's a badass beer, and I love that beer. We'll have to make sure we give Miami here a shout out. Louse, what
Definitely.
you got, man?
So continuing from last week, I'm on it actually would be the Anchor Brew, or it's the San Francisco Brewery California Lager. So it's supposed to taste very California-y. I've only been there once. It was very brief.
Tastes like sunshine, palm trees, and Beach Boys.
It tastes actually like hipster sweat and and mopeds. It's kind of weird. No, I'm joking. It's actually very delicious. Probably the most, no easy way to say it. It's what I would think of when I think of a lager, which is weird. Like, it's got some really strong, like almost, I would say, wooden notes, like pine and whatnot. Sort of like birch and whatnot too. Very good. A little hardier than I thought it would be, but I believe it comes in at around 6%. So delicious beer. Probably not my favorite. I do like the one I tried last week a little bit better. But and then there was one more in that multi-pack I got, but someone got a little thirsty.
It was
I'll
you.
have to rebuy that for next week.
It was you.
Yeah, okay, it was me. It's not my girlfriend, no.
All right, good. I like it. So the beer that I brought, actually, Ryan, is a throwback. You may note it from this wonderful label here.
Oh, Spartan, maybe?
Spartan Kick IPA, and I don't know if you have any of these left. Do you?
No. Of the
So I have
45
three
bottles, I have none.
Right, I have 3 left. I actually have 3 bottles left, and this is one of 4 that I had left. I had this in the fridge for a week just to get it up to snuff here and get it cool. But then I pulled it out of the fridge, and I've had it kind of sitting here on the counter for 30 minutes or so just to get it down to right temperature. It's still hanging in there. I don't think this was our first beer was the best one to keep, for the next 6 months. It's becoming a little tart more so than I remember, but it smells great. It tastes good. It had good fermentation or good bubbles on it when I first poured it.
Okay.
Like I said, that was quite a few minutes ago. But it does still taste like a drinkable beer. Yeah, it tastes like it's higher in alcohol a little bit, but it does drink more like a sour now than it did before.
Yeah.
Again, we kind of ran into that with the levels of fermentation that we put. As you can tell, there's a good finger width of fermentation or yeast still in this bottle, and I think that's why this one's a little more sour, just because it has like a yeasty taste, but it's not by any means buttery or bad. It's just kind of just a little more tart. But I think we had some inconsistency like that, and that was just because we really didn't know what we were doing.
Though the good news for the people out there listening is that at least there's alcohol in there. It's not your typical beer, I think.
Yeah.
And I'm learning more as I do more brews what I should do better. As a matter of fact, I kind of dropped this in there. Went to Marker 48 the other day, talked to one of the brewers. He's been brewing there for about 2 years. He said, yeah, started off just actually at the brewery. And he said, you've got to make sure your temperature is up to 212 when you're in the boil phase. And I don't think we pushed it as much as we wanted because we didn't want to overheat it. We didn't want to burn up the fermentable sugars in that beer. But he says it burns out all the impurities and it really helps bring the full flavor of the beer together. So I've got a little something special fermenting right now besides the pineapple wheat that we just brewed, which is bottled and ready to go in a couple of days. Little sneak peek. The Jackal. Yes, that one.
Oh, God, that was such a botched text.
The Jackal. I'm like, yeah, sure. We could go with a pineapple Jackal. Sure.
What I was referring to is a surprise text message where Ryan was trying to keep us in suspense. And, of course, Dane reverted to the iconic Family Guy scene where that one dude was playing, Pictionary with Stewie, and he was just terribly obnoxious saying it was a jackal, and in reality we all know it was not a jackal, and they made that very clear. So I guess we're calling it the pineapple jackal now.
Pineapple jackal wheat. Why not?
Jackal wheat. Okay, that's got rolls right off the tongue.
But I want to get back to the story.
Sorry.
And I'll share this in a couple of weeks because I'm actually really excited to find out how it comes out. I brewed a jalapeno IPA.
Ooh, so that's exciting. You know who does shit like that? Christian Roberts. Our good buddy Christian Roberts brewed several chili beers. I've never seen a jalapeno beer. I've drank jalapeno beers before, and I've had good ones that are drinkable, and I've had ones where I'm like, oh, that's a little bit much.
I had a little bit of it, obviously unfermented without any yeast. I just had the finishing touches to it, and I got to tell you, I can't wait to see that one.
Really? Oh, what batch number are you on now?
Going on 13, which will be Saturday night. I might snap a few tweets out there.
Nice, batch number 13.
Batch
Exciting.
number 13. Yeah, man. But this one, because I took that guy's advice and I brewed it at 212. And man, I'm looking forward to it. I'm very excited.
What'd you use for the jalapeno? Extract or peppers or juice?
Actual jalapenos. So
you put them in like with the hops or something? Like
I cut the tops off of 2 of them for a 1 gallon batch. One was a little bigger than the other. And I added my hop addition 20 minutes into the boil, and then with 15 minutes left, I threw just like I would a normal hop, and I just put it into a bag and I threw it in there and I just let it brew together with the remaining hops that I had. And man, the smell, like Ashley was over top of it, and the smell of it was like getting her all enticed. It was crazy.
What did it smell like? Because the flavors, a fresh jalapeno's got that pepper but it's not like it's like a tangy pepper, like a jalapeno is not like a green pepper. It's like it's got that pepper kick, but then I can imagine with the citrus notes from the hops, it probably meshes really well, especially that aroma.
It smelled so fantastic. Standing over top of the boil, just letting all those flavors come together. And then the jalapeno. Ashley, she loves spicy food. She loves spicy beers. Smoked and spicy are her 2 favorite types. And she was just like, man, this beer is going to be phenomenal. So I can't wait to share that with you guys. And I'm not a spicy fan, but I'm telling you, it's just the right amount of spice.
Yeah,
just the right amount. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm excited to try our pineapple, but this jalapeno one sounds interesting too. So.
I think I'm chalking up the jalapeno to be the best one yet, but I'm definitely excited about the pineapple beer. I had a little taste of that the other night. Obviously, it hadn't been fermented or bottled yet, just mixed with the pineapple, but the flavor was there for the ale portion of it, and then it was just kicking you in the mouth with the pineapple. It wasn't overly sugary because I waited. I didn't add the pineapple like I did the last time. I added the pineapple in the bottle phase this time as to get the priming sugar so that it wasn't overly sugary, less tart, and more pineapple-y at the finish. So we'll see.
How much did you put in again? Less than last time?
Well, between 8 bottles, I poured about a little more than, I'd say, a third of a can into my pot, and then I basically funneled out all the beer that was in the fermenter, let it all mix together, and then I bottled from there. That way, it all mixed together and got a good mix in there.
That'll be good. But I'm sure that more experienced brewers can kind of lead to this, but when you start experimenting with adding sugar like that, with your priming situation, which if you did it instead, did you do it instead of priming sugar? Like
I
instead
did
of,
it. Yeah, instead of priming sugar, because
you'll-
that's where I failed the last time, I think.
Yeah, well, or you'll be sitting there in bed in the middle of the night and you hear and they'll just all start popping open in your closet, and that's no fun either.
Nope.
So like the vacuum's having a wild party with the steamer.
I think that guy from the Loop we talked to was telling us about that one time where he was like, "Oh my God, what is that?" Like it felt like bombs going off in his freaking.
What were you saying, Louse?
I have a question. So, have we talked names at all
for the IPA? Yes, I'm calling that one the Wildfire IPA.
Ooh, there's that. Also,
no, not going back on it. Don't give me an also. Next one maybe, but this one's the Wildfire IPA. This one's after my wife.
Oh, there you go. Let the man have this.
Yeah, but I want to hear Louse's idea. No. Let him get it out. He's got to funnel this a little bit.
Brewery joke. So I was thinking either jalapeno beer.
Oh, I like that.
You could still give her the pleasure and say jalapeno wife.
I really didn't want to say that one out loud, but that happens. That happens.
Maybe I'll leave that for my stout. How's that?
Okay. All right.
I was about to say, I guarantee that one of all the battles of beer names that are being trademarked and sued and whatever in legal battles, guarantee that's not taken.
No, we'll take that here on the podcast right now. If anybody else out there tries to do the jalapeno my wife, I'm going to sue your ass.
Trademark. Sorry.
The only other one I was going to think of was the Spice Baby.
No, that's nice. I just love that you were like,
that's a little 1993 for me.
All right, well, hey.
I had to go back to that because I was like, you're like, yeah, if anybody else tries to take the name jalapeno my wife, I'll be real mad. I'm like, what? That's what you'll be mad about. Not talking about disrespecting your wife. That's fine though. I understand. Anyway, sorry.
It's all about the brand. Got to protect the brand.
All right. So we got to keep moving because I want to get
a podcast or
I want to get this this rolling. So you guys got anything else on those, or can I move along?
No, man, we're good.
Okay. So we're playing a little game. We're playing a little game, and as I started actually putting this out here, I realized that this game is not going to be as fun as I thought it was, but it's okay because we have a lot of articles. So the little game is, and if you read through the notes like as of an hour ago, these weren't even on there, so don't worry about that. But the game is, there are 6 breweries that were brought to my attention by the Miami Times. I think they did Miami New Times did a 6 breweries of Florida that are owned by larger beer companies. So this is interesting because I don't know if you guys, the news that I did see for this week for beer and specifically beer, people are talking about, is your craft beer craft? I don't know if you've seen those populate, but I've seen them on all my blogs that I follow. All of my Facebook feed has been on there. So it's this article, that's about, is the beer that you're drinking craft beer? So people say, oh, this Goose Island is delicious. Well, yeah, that's a craft beer, but it's owned by AB. So is it truly a craft beer? The volume, things like that. Or people think the Walmart beers are craft beers. Well, no, they're not, because they're made into a volume it's not exactly craft. So it's kind of in that vein, but this was interesting because I was like, okay, let's see how many of these beer companies we can name. So I think that we'll get 2 out of the 6, which is a massive fail. But go ahead and throw out some names for Florida breweries that you think may be owned by other beer companies. Just rapid fire.
That we think are owned by other beer companies?
If you had to guess, and maybe you know or maybe you don't know, what would you assume? Name a couple.
I'm going to throw out Cigar City only.
Boom, number 1.
Okay.
But we know that because Joey signed that deal with Capital Partners for Colorado's Oscar Blues, and which is in Cigar City's known for the Hanapa Day, which is all about their stout in March. But yes, they are owned by a larger. But this is more of an organization of craft breweries. So
side note, the Cigar City Highlight was actually mentioned on Jeopardy the other day, but we'll get into that later.
That's amazing.
It was.
Well,
it said Florida beers, and the answer was, what is a highlight? And that was the answer. So anyway, they were really proud of that.
Yeah, that's bizarre, but that is good. Louse, you got any guesses?
Oh boy. Yeah, no.
That's okay, because these are. I don't even. None of these. First off, besides Cigar City, none of these are in Tampa. But that's okay, because I'll just run through them quickly now. And this is why I thought.
Bug Nutty on the list? Probably not.
It is not. No, but brewery called Concrete Beach Brewery. I have no idea where the hell Concrete Beach is, But they were actually founded in coordination with Boston Beer's Jim Koch. So that's kind of interesting. But that's got Alan Newman. He's the guy that co-founded Magic Hat, which is fun. And then Jim Koch, who founded Sam Adams, which is also cool.
Oh,
so again, just like Cigar City for the number 2 there, those are two brands that we can support because it's small brands becoming bigger brands with other craft beer brands. As long as craft and the passion, like we always say, is still there, it's we support it, and that's what we do. The next one here, Fat Point Brewing, and I've had Fat Point before. I was not sure where they were. They're in Punta Gorda. So they actually are part of fellowship with Big Storm. So they have merged and kind of became one brand, which is neat because we like Big Storm because they're local and they're close.
So, but Big Storm's not AB InBev and all of that. They're just
Correct.
merged together to partner. Is that right? So I guess at that point it's still craft beer because even though they're partners,
I think I can handle this. It's Ryan. It's called the Fellowship of the Brewing.
All right.
Okay. I can't handle it. Nope.
That's okay. No, Ryan, to answer your question.
Are you sitting on your bucket again, Louse?
I'm not sitting on the bucket. Oh.
Ryan, to answer your question, essentially Big Storm and their financial means, came to acquire this brewery. And now there are 2 separate brands that are under one flagship. So, but again, that's small breweries becoming larger by partnering or, massing together.
Yeah, I get you.
So I like that. Next one here is Florida Beer Company, which has an interesting story because Florida Brewing Co., if you remember, is etched on the iconic building that we hold Florida Craft Beer Day in every year, downtown Ybor. So it's very close to home. But that brewery actually kind of fell in on itself in the 1960s. Actually, it was way before then. It was right around Prohibition. They had to close their doors, so there may or may not have been making beer there at that time. But the brewery itself was acquired by Schlitz, sold, acquired again, and then was actually reacquired by Florida Beer Company, which had then been sold and kind of rebirthed in 1996 as Indian River Brewing Company. Then they actually changed their name to the current one of Florida Beer Company, and I've seen their cans all over the place because they're on the coast. I think they're on the southeast coast of Florida. But essentially, they were acquired by the Trinidad-based conglomerate ANSAMCAL, who owns Carib Brewing, which Carib is the Caribbean, clearly, beer company. So I had no idea about that, and I don't know how large they are, but that is interesting that they're owned by those guys. The next one here, and there's only 2 left. There's Vesa Sur Brewing Company. I probably said that wrong, but that's one of Miami's newest breweries, and that is actually owned by AB InBev. Boo. Yeah. So that's an interesting one, but the brewery itself is a partnership between Colombia's Bogota Beer Company and 10 Barrel Brewing in Oregon, which both of those are actually owned by AB. So it's a boutique brewery with a Latin American twist. And like I said, they're in Miami. The last one is Wynwood Brewing Company, again in Miami. And these guys they're under partnership of the Craft Brewing Alliance. The Portland, Oregon-based publicly traded company they own breweries like Widmer Brothers, Red Hook Ale, and Kona, which again, AB InBev owns 32% of that parent company as of 2010. So AB InBev's all over the place, man.
That's disappointing though, because I like Red Hook, and I think that makes really awesome beer. But
Red Hook is Widmer was always Widmer was always the brand that I affiliated with AB, even since my Budweiser days. But I didn't know about Wynwood. I don't think I've had anything from Wynwood, but definitely had. Yeah, I'm familiar with Red Hook, and I knew that Kona was an AB brand. So, so interesting. To each his own.
Which, by the way, I should say, Red Hook has a great red and a great IPA.
Hook? Oh, sorry.
I was hoping for that too.
But that article is in the Miami New Times. Simply just search for the beer, there, and you'll see it. Moving on, the next article I had was from the Business Observer, actually the Tampa Bay Business Observer, and it basically gave a data snapshot of the breweries around the country and where the biggest, highest per capita are. Vermont was or is now a go-to state for craft beers. They have 8 breweries per 100,000 people. So that is 8 breweries to 1 person in the state. That's crazy. That per capita is crazy. But that just goes to show you that there's a lot more room for breweries to expand in smaller markets or in smaller states. There's other states like Montana, Colorado, Maine, Oregon that have 10, 11 breweries per capita, which is crazy. California leads all states with 687 breweries in the state. Colorado is a distant second at 348 breweries in the state of Colorado. Florida did well. It ranked number 9 on the national total of number of breweries for the state of 2012 at the time of this report, which I believe was published earlier this year. So this article came out May 19, 2017, so just this last week or so. But I think it's pretty neat, and I think that we have a shitload of beer for people, and that's good to know. The Tampa Bay area specifically has 53 breweries, according to the report, and that is 7 breweries ahead of North Carolina, 5 behind Texas. So pretty cool. I think that's neat. Tampa basically is also the only city in Florida and the Southeast on the list. So Seattle ranked number 1 with 174 breweries, and Chicago, Denver, Portland, and New York City rounded out the top 5. So that, again, is the Business Observer Florida. You can find their beer section there to zero in on those results. But what do you guys think about that? What does that mean for Tampa beer? I think that's exciting.
It means we need some more.
Well, True. It means we have room for more.
That's absolutely true.
Do we need more? I don't know. Do we need more innovation like Marker 48, like Big Storm, like some of these guys we've talked in the past? Absolutely.
Yes.
We already have, I think it was 1 brewery per person, per capita. I'm sorry, 1 brewery per capita, which means 1 brewery per every 100,000 people. So that's cool. Do we need 8? I don't know, but it is a shitload of breweries. So that's very neat.
I was going to say, I feel like we need more maple stouts. That's where, Vermont's kind of etching their way into our turf on that one, because we have 0 maple stouts in the state of Florida.
Who the hell wants a maple stout?
Me, and I don't even like stouts. So yeah, that's one for the books.
What were you gonna say, Ryan?
I look at it as, you can go down the road and count how many restaurants there are. All those restaurants have beer that they're pouring, liquor that they're pouring. And people are still eating at them. You can count on your hands and toes how many Carrabba's there are, how many Outbacks there are. I don't think you can have enough of one thing to appease the minds of everybody. So, and let's be honest here, how many of the people that live in this area are actually going out and drinking and things of that nature? There are some people that don't drink, or better yet, there are some people that have not discovered craft beer yet. I was at Mellow Mushroom tonight, and a guy ordered a PBR. You do realize Mellow Mushroom is not a place to order a PBR. Buy a liquor drink if you want.
$1.
But yeah, well, exactly. Or look at the whole, all the handles that they have ready to pour. So there are people that have not discovered craft beer yet, and it only takes one of us that's talking about it to get that motion going for people. And so, yeah, I think we could still have plenty more, and everybody would still be successful. especially in Tampa, how many people? Like 1 million people in this area alone.
Well, I have several points to make to counter your argument, though, about that. First off, yes, people don't always drink, but everybody has to eat. Second off, Carrabba's isn't sold in your Publix, in your gas station, at Walgreens, at the local bar, at the local restaurant, at Carrabba's. You're not going to Walmart to buy, or to Publix or wherever it may be, to buy a 6-pack of Carrabba's. You don't have that. So Carrabba's and food and restaurants, which there are 18 Carrabba's, within 5-mile radius of here, aren't fighting for shelf space. They're fighting for real estate, sure, but that's different than shelf space. It's a lot harder to acquire shelf space. You can't just go out and buy that real estate.
Right. I totally agree with you. But what I'm saying is this. What is going to make people come to your brewery? We went to Wiki Wachi last Saturday. We went to Marker 48. It's 3 miles from Wiki Wachi. We had a fantastic time, and they had a great food truck out there that had a whole freaking rack of ribs that was fucking fantastic for $20.
Yeah, but Jenny, we almost stopped at that because Jenny was like, "I'm really hungry." I was like, "Oh,
you've got to go." But you've got to get their ribs. They're fantastic. I forget what they're called, Barbie something or whatever, barbecue. Yeah, ribs. But, okay, so take away shelf space. If your focus is to just have a brewery and get everybody your canned beer at a Publix or so on and so forth, I think you're going to miss the point. What's going to make people travel to your brewery? Outside of Marker 48, they've got this huge outdoor patio with all of this AstroTurf that they pulled up from a local soccer indoor facility, and they've got a great stage outside. It's kind of rustic. It's really nice. It's really neat and different. But what separates you from the pack? So really what I'm trying to say is, are we focusing on how many people or how many breweries can get their cans on the shelves at a local supermarket versus how many people are going to your breweries on a weekly basis? That is the question.
Show us those cans, man.
I think. Show us. Well, cans are good, but tap is better. We all know this.
Ryan
16
prefers
ounce pints.
tap over cans, just so you know.
Just saying. Nope. Tapping the cans. So that's my argument. I get what you're saying, Donnie. I get they're all fighting for shelf space, but how much room's open in your brewery? That's what I want to know.
The problem, I agree with you on that, Ryan, too. The issue that I have is that you don't start a brewery so that you can have the best brewery. You start a brewery so that you can move units, move metal. You know what I mean? I mean,
I know.
That's what it is. You want to get your can of beer into everybody's hand, not just here outside Wikiwachi. You want the guy in Seattle, in Canada, in Maine, in Colorado.
So here's the deal. The person traveling from Seattle right now is going to look up and say, hey, where's the good craft beer breweries and what can I do in Florida? Then they're going to see, oh, there's a fantastic mermaid show going on at Wikiwachi. Plus, you can swim in the awesome springs, and 3 miles from there is a brewery.
Yeah.
That's my point. Destination spots, man.
Yeah, but that again is opportunity. I don't want to beat this dead horse, but then again, that is opportunistic.
No, I got you.
If you don't have a Wikiwachi down the street, then what would have really brought you in that day? I mean, I know I gave an outstanding review and applaud to the product, but they are by no means our official nor unofficial sponsor.
I got you there. I got you there. I do. I understand the concept. I'm just saying, let's think outside the box. Let's find a different way to generate that buzz.
We're always about that, though. That's it.
That's
innovation.
Right.
That's why we bring these guys up. I think it's been 3 episodes now that we brought up this brewery. But hey, you know what? Good on them. And they're proving an example. And it's just like Cigar City, which comes up in almost every episode. I mean, Cigar City, places a message on the bottom of every can that says, "Hey, did you know Tampa stands for blah blah blah," or whatever it may be. I mean, that's a neat little history piece. They just keep pushing in there because it's just another fun layer of the onion that is craft beer. So
absolutely,
it's pronounced Funyun.
And the other part too is part of that system. If they start getting on distribution, they've then got to hire sales reps to go out and sell those beers to make shelf space inside restaurants and other different,
Carrabba's.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
all right.
Yeah.
Louse, you got anything else?
Good stuff.
I had a joke, something along the lines of Ryan Roberts. It was going to be a Carrabba's bit, but it didn't come to listen. Yeah, no, it's not going to work out.
Damn it.
All right. So we're moving on. We got to really fly through these now. We're moving on to the geek news section of this. Drink it, send it back. We always like to put some news out there, and I think that a couple of you guys, even Louse has some stories he's bringing to the table here. But I have a shitload of news because, like I said last week, we're kind of light on the geeky stuff. So a lot's happened, and actually a lot has happened last week. We're finally back on track. We had that crazy couple of weeks where we had Beer Fest this, Beer Fest that, live episode here, live episode there. So it's been a lot of fun. But we are back on track now, and there was a ton of news. First off, I want to lead off with something personal that I had actually experienced this week, and it was thanks to some good buddies that I listen to on a daily basis. They're an Australian podcast called The Weekly Planet. If you've not heard of them, look them up. They're fantastic. It's they spoke very highly about this. James on the podcast actually brought up this unique show, and Ryan, you may have seen it from the notes. Now, I don't know if you did. The show it's actually on Netflix, and it's a movie. It's 2 hours long. It's full feature length, very good production value, and it's called The Train to Busan. And it's a zombie movie on a train, and it's the mag train. No. It's the mag train from like South Korea. That's wrong, but a southern whatever one spot in like imagine like California going from the north to the south. It's like an 8-hour trip maybe. So it's they start here in the south section of Korea, and as they go to depart, it's while the zombie outbreak is happening.
No.
So they essentially like hop on the train as all hell breaks loose. And it's about a father and his daughter, and the whole thing's in subtitles. But I don't love like an overly scary, terrifying movie for obvious reasons. But I love a good zombie flick when they're done well. Like 28 Days Later, 28 Weeks Later. Like World War Z was more of an action flick, but it had some zombie elements that I really did appreciate. This movie, with subtitles and all, it was totally in Korean. It is awesome. It is an awesome movie. For zombies on a train, it's like World War Z meets Snakes on a Plane. And minus the Samuel L. Jackson, plus a whole bunch of Korean, it's really actually pretty good. I was really impressed with the way that they did it. and it had me at the edge of my seat the whole time. And you were just kind of like, what was happening next? And they took it in some pretty neat areas. So highly suggest it. Again, it's on Netflix. If you are at all into zombie flicks or anything kind of horror, scary, whatever, highly suggest it. So
I'm enticed.
check it out, man. It's 2 hours. I mean, it's brilliant. I really suggest it. That's not up your alley, is it, Lausman?
No, it actually is. That's absolutely fascinating. I like that. I like the whole idea of that. From the surrounding information, I may or may not relate to it, but that sounds like a really cool premise. And, it almost sounds like a spoof off of, like an elevated spoof off of that, the whole Fear the Walking Dead type of situation, which was neat. I mean, but at the end of the day, I was like, all right, like I flew recently. I was like, can you just like comment? Can you comment on my overhead package and like I'll just order a beer. This all would just be done. Like I just didn't. It wasn't like something I wanted to watch. I was just like, ugh, can this all just be over? Like it was more like watching somebody like snake a toilet. I was like, oh man, when is this shit done? Like, ugh, gross. Like,
Well,
can I just get where I'm going?
I'm telling you, I turned it on, and even with the subtitles, I watched it on the edge of my chair the whole time because about 10 minutes in, shit just hits the fan, and
Really?
it stays that way for damn near the 90 minutes or so. It's
Do you need a bigger chair? Is that what it is?
No, chair size is fine.
I'm
Okay.
actually gonna watch that tomorrow night.
Yep,
I had no idea this thing even existed. But
Neither did I, and that's the crazy thing is that this came out in 2016, and like you didn't hear anything about it, but all of a sudden now I've heard it from James on the Weekly Planet, and I heard it from a couple other people. Talked to some guys at work about it. Like, dude, it's a good.
You know what it is though? There's people out there that are like, oh, the movie was great, but it had subtitles, and you're like, shut up, because you're supposed to be able to do both and read at the same time.
Well,
Right.
That's the problem.
In the future that you see, does everyone play the guitar? Because it looks like that's the situation. You're like, hey man, don't worry about it, bro.
Actually, I've been
are
doing
you saying-
P90X, and one of the plyometrics moves is guitar. So
Is that where you live now, though? Do you live in the mystery machine? Because that's super fucked up.
Well, see, Ryan.
Scooby's outside right now.
Back to your point.
Scoob
Though,
and the gang. Oh, God.
God damn it.
No, to Ryan's point though, the subtitles thing kind of threw me too because I was like, oh, it's all in subtitles. I don't know if I can get into this, but it's a zombie movie. It's not like it's The Notebook where the dialogue is so important. It's and I don't even know if it's a good example.
Wait, I gotta know. Do they subtitle the zombies when they're like, "Rawr"?
I don't remember. I think so. I think
they put "rawr" across the screen.
It's about 9 R's.
Or were they French zombies? Were they like "rawr"? Like,
no, they were
French ones
Korean. It was
Korean. Oh, it's Korean. Shit. Were they "rawr"? Like I don't know. Like, how does that work?
Are you French drunk or are you just regular drunk?
I am tourist trapped drunk.
All right. Well, that's all I have to say about it. But I'm telling you, even without like the subtitles are not even important because you can get all of the context from a dude eating another dude's face stuff. So just check it out. It's neat. But again, let's keep going. Let's rapid fire this. Now we're really out of Lossman. This was so as you may have noticed, dear listeners out there, our good friends and potential future friends. Mr. Dane,
like
potential. Nope. Mr. Dane is not with us this evening just because of scheduling conflict, but I really thought he would vibe on this because he's the only one of us that has a PS4. And this next piece of news is about the Uncharted movie and who they cast to be Nathan Drake. I thought it was, at first, I really wasn't a big fan, but I'm going to give this kid the benefit of the doubt. It's Tom Holland who plays the latest Spider-Man. Little British kid, that's really got a good talent for acting. He's in the Yes, lay down. Dog, come here. Lay down. Hold on.
Ryan, you should probably do it, dude. He's just going to keep you asking.
Do what?
Oh, you didn't get the joke. He's telling one of his dogs to lay down, and so I literally go, I was like, oh, shit, Ryan, you should probably do it. He's going to keep asking you to lay down.
What are you assholes saying now?
He was calling me a dog.
All right, sorry.
Yeah, pretty much.
They're gonna cast Tom Holland, who's the new Spider-Man, as the young Nathan Drake, and they actually position the whole movie from the standpoint of a sequence that was taken out of Uncharted 3, Drake's Inception. So I went through and actually played the game online and watched some of the cutscenes. And what this is how Nathan Drake kind of got introduced to his partner, long time for the whole franchise of the game, a guy named Sully. So like an old kind of dusty, imagine like the show Burn Notice, Sam from Burn Notice.
That's what I call a cowboy. Yeah, but yep.
So like an old Navy SEAL guy, right? Old Navy SEAL guy wears the Hawaiian shirts, low life criminal kind of guy with a heart of gold. That kind of guy is who he kind of went into. They had this movie has been on the back burner since 2009. Originally, it was going to be Mark Wahlberg, who kind of dropped out of the film to play Drake, which is okay, because if this kid can pull off the young Nathan Drake, then think about it like this over a movie franchise, 10 years or whatever. You're talking, there's one movie, there's two movies, there's three movies, and now the kid's, he's a 30-year-old, and he looks a lot different than he did back in the day, and now you have this series of movies that can kind of follow him along. If you've not played the Uncharted series, it's a video game for PS4 that plays like a movie. You know what I mean? It's the best kind. There's not even ammo or health on the screen. You're literally, and Ryan, have you ever played this? Have you even seen Uncharted or anything like that?
Oh boy.
Assassin's Creed is my most recent video game.
That's okay, because it's reminiscent of that in the effect where you don't really have as much hand-holding and you have a lot of hand-holding and prompting, as in there's only one way to really navigate the story, but the story plays like an Indiana Jones movie. So you start out in a bar, you find an artifact, and these guys want to take it from you, and then they leave you dead in the street, but then you come back and you hunt them down and you try to get the amulet back, and then you find a map and a clue and this yada yada, and then it's a big story. So it's like it's very reminiscent of Indiana Jones, but it's a new take on that, which Indiana Jones 5 is coming, but this would be a really cool movie to see. And if they can pull it off right with a young Nathan Drake, then I would look forward to 10, 12 years of the Drake movies.
My question is Uncharted a rated M for mature video game?
I believe so. There's quite a bit of blood, and I don't know about sex.
Then I really hope, and maybe they'll never hear this podcast, make the movie fucking rated R. Because there's nothing worse than a fan of something and they soften it up to make it PG-13 for all the little kiddie fans to go watch. Go watch it with your parents, but make it rated R. That's all I ask.
Well, the game, they drop a lot of F-bombs. They drop a lot of swears, a lot of curses.
Which they won't do in the movie. I promise you, this movie will be PG-13 and it'll be soft, and all the fans that are hardcore fans will be like, fuck this movie.
The game isn't a rated R movie, though. It doesn't play like that. It's not a bloody gore fest. It's just... Go ahead, Louse.
If the game... Oh, boy. If the movie actually ends up playing like the game and includes all that, I really hope they change the name to Uncharted.
There he goes, everyone.
How does he do it, folks?
How does he do it, folks? Oh,
no, but for real.
But you see my point, though, Louse, right? Like, don't soften it up for just getting more people in the seats. Like, make it rated R. Make it realistic and make it what people love already.
But see,
I see your point. However, dude, you're forgetting like the Mortal Kombat series that actually doubled over into movies, which it included all the rated R parts that were not necessary, and it also included all the movie parts that were not movie necessary. So like it literally was like a train wreck.
But there was a lot of people that loved that movie, and if for its time it did the trick.
But for those who love this game, it's a PG-13 game. Like, it's not, besides the F-bombs, it's not anything over the top. It'd be like saying, make a Grand Theft Auto 5 game, but I hope you make it rated R, because if you make it PG-13, it's not going to be the same. That's absolutely correct. Anyone that's ever played Grand Theft Auto 5 knows that they throw a fuck or an F-bomb or a prostitute sex scene in for no goddamn reason. Like, they do not need to do that in the game, but that is that game. You cannot make that game PG-13. That would have to be a rated R game.
True.
Simple as that. And that movie would have to be rated R. But this game is not that way. It literally is exactly like an Indiana Jones. He has a little romance. He gets a little frustrated. He drops a curse every now and again. But there's action, there's blood, there's people getting stabbed and killed and whatever. But it's I see your point, Ryan. It would be great, but the fans are not going to be the ones that say that. It'll be people that are.
It just keeps it more real. Yeah, it just keeps it more realistic. That's all I'm saying. Like like the Wolverine movie they just made was the most realistic we've ever seen. I mean, even to the point of him slicing somebody's head through, with his
clean off,
yeah. So just make it realistic, and that's what people will thrive off of. If you chintz it in any way, people are going to hate it, and there goes your 10 years of movies.
Yeah, I can see that. But my last point on that is that there is nothing more realistic than a good old Indiana Jones flick from 1941, where he's sneaking out of the library and cracking down baddies in the next scene. So, dude's face melts off in that, by the way. So I mean, they can do some things. They can do some things.
Then make a rated R Indiana Jones movie. I mean, who wouldn't pay to see that?
Whoa.
If you're gonna pay $12.50 a ticket and then an extra $4 for 3D glasses that you can go get at your local whatever party store for, then
First off, $12.50 is a matinee, bro. Start going to the movies at regular times. That's $17.
And then buy a beer.
So are we talking about a Harrison Ford on like a full penetration style Indiana, like in Diana Jones?
Oh, come on. Yes. I was like, come on, Louse. This is me teeing it up for you, Louse. Ryan teeing it up for you. That's what it was. I guess it was both of us. Hey, we gotta move on. All right, that's it. All right, good. I'm glad you guys like that. Even though you don't really know what Uncharted is, Ryan, I'm glad you caught that. Just check out here. Okay, so here, last thing on this. Just Google Uncharted. You can literally, for all 4 games, whatever they have now, you can watch all the cutscenes in order, and it is literally like a movie. So if you Google Uncharted 3 cutscenes, you will find a 4K beautiful. All the cutscenes are there. It's basically like a movie, and it shows you how the game actually plays. Just check that out for 10 or 20 minutes.
Anyways.
Yeah, and if you Google Uncharted, you're going to be into a way longer video. It's not so much accurate. It's got a lot of poop noises. I do not recommend it.
Moving on. It sends you right to Louse's bathroom.
We're moving on.
I mean,
his bucket.
Live feed all day long.
Live feed to Louse's bucket. Great.
All right. So, guys. All right. So, moving on here because we got to get through this. There were some news that actually dropped today, and this was the Star Wars Last Jedi. And we haven't talked about Star Wars in a while. The Vanity Fair piece that came out. It was actually teased on the 23rd, but the Vanity Fair piece came out today. And there's actually a little trailer that shows how they shot it and how they kind of filmed it. They went into what I would encourage everybody else to do is to go on there and just Google it. Again, Vanity Fair, Star Wars, Last Jedi, and they showed a whole bunch of behind-the-scenes stuff. But it went into a great detail of how Rian Johnson, and again, guys, and maybe it's just me, but
oh, some snotzies, huh?
Oh, no. We've lost Ryan.
Yeah, we got a snotzy army going on here. He's gone full snotzy. This is the Fourth Reich.
Louse. All right, so this is me and you. So what I was saying,
clearly,
essentially, is ever since I had the chance to be this close to these folks that were in this movie, this is the first actual like public piece that I've seen in terms of promotion for this movie since I was in that room sharing the same air and hanging out with these guys. So it's truly been special, and it was really amazing to watch this. But they gave Rian Johnson some time to actually get into things like what was coming up for Rose and Finn, which we talked about in an interview, a little bit of light on this casino city called Cantino Bight. Which is, basically like a James Bond-ish kind of environment where they have this casino type thing. He basically wanted to fill it with ultra glamour, make a playground for rich assholes. So that's really cool. He introduced a lot of the new figures like Benicio del Toro's character, who is defined as a shady character, but it's called DJ by the filmmakers. Apparently there's a reason why we call him DJ. So that's cool. He you saw him slumped over in that picture looking like Billy Badass, just kind of chilling there.
Seen that.
Yep. That was the first time we saw a picture of him, so that's cool. We saw Laura Dern's character, Vice Admiral Holdo. So that just hearing the name and her outfit, how fancy it was, and whatnot. I guarantee to you, either she was on Hosnian Prime when it exploded, or after she escaped, or something like that. If you remember from Force Awakens, that planet kind of was full of ritzy assholes, like from the hell was that called? Mockingjay. What was the movie? To Catch Farts, Catch Fire.
To Catch Farts. That's where that went, right?
No, what was it? Hunger Games. Goddamn, Louse. Hunger Games.
Yeah,
Hunger Games franchise. Yeah, Catching Farts.
The thing you were talking about was Catching Farts. So I've got nothing on that.
That was the name of the movie, Catching Farts? Catching Fire?
Absolutely not. That quite literally is the... Nope. Yep, continue.
anyways, he shed a lot of light on this. So essentially, you know, I'm really stoked to see this, and now I'm just as jazzed up as ever. I don't know if you saw you saw you saw the pictures. What did the pictures do for you? Anything? I mean, it showed some bougie stuff, some bizarre aliens. It didn't give a lot away.
Yeah, I got nothing from the stills that they went ahead and released. Yeah, I don't know. I quite literally do not have enough information to act upon it. So,
I mean, did you like them?
Political standpoint. I mean, it was cool. Yeah, neat to see those different angles, but
it was clearly just them, you know, posing with a background, posing this. So go ahead and slash your sword, little tantrum man. And Adam Driver had a little sword slashy photo there for Vanity Fair, which is whatever.
The several different pictures from Vanity Fair were oddly the same.
Yeah.
I mean,
yep. No, that's right. Yeah, you're right.
I saw a lot of people.
Kylo Ren?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Kylo Ren.
Jesus, you can
Ben Kenobi.
Ben Kenobi. No.
Oh God. No, it's
God.
Ben.
We're gonna get so many tweets.
But it's been Solo. And yeah, I mean it is
All right, we're gonna move along. It's okay. We're gonna move along. Yep, we're doing it. Ryan, next story here. Do you remember the Revenge of the Sith? Probably not from that title. Do you remember when the prequels, the last prequel, when Darth Vader got his legs chopped off by Obi-Wan in the volcano world? So
you were the chosen one.
Yes.
I've seen it.
Okay, good. So there were some new storyboards that came out that were unreleased before, and basically that scene would have played out very differently. In fact, the whole movie, the prequels really would have played out differently. Essentially, at that scene, remember he chokes out his pregnant wife at Padme, who's the mother of Luke and Leia, and that's why she dies and they survive and go off into different areas.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, in the real movie, that's what happened. She had it when she got off that lander.
I thought she died from giving birth.
She died from a broken heart.
God, he doesn't know.
That's okay. She died from a broken heart. Spoiler alert. But that wasn't a spoiler. You said you saw the movie. In the original ending, she had a knife and she went to go kill Anakin because she knew how bad he was, how terrible a person he was. And actually, slowly throughout the whole prequel series, she kind of saw this transition, and she was the architect working with Mon Mothma to build the Resistance. So by the time it got to this point, she was ready to kill her husband and lover, Anakin Skywalker. She held the knife, and there's art of this. They almost shot. She held the knife to his throat, and at the last second, she couldn't do it. And at that point, you know, clearly we're in some turmoil. Anakin saw Obi-Wan and threw her, which is what ultimately led to her kind of going away. And then they had to fight and that kind of stuff. But this did a couple things more than just a knife. Basically, it showed that Padme was this leader because she was like a teen when she was made queen of the planet of Naboo, right? And so she has this ingrained leadership, strong female kind of go-getter attitude, and this storyline portrayed her as one of the instigators of the Resistance. So it would have been really interesting to see this. I don't know. It would have been cool, but they nixed it essentially because George Lucas thought it was too dark, and it really brought down the kind of kiddie vibe, because essentially the prequels were made, you know, a little bit more for kids. So
yeah,
for 12-year-olds, as the creator said himself. So that's crazy, but I thought that would have been cool.
No, yeah. I mean, it's neat to know that they had alternative, you know, storylines out there, kind of thing.
I'm sure they had thousands, but that was just one that really was very close to make it. We have one last story this evening. It is not Star Wars related. Thank you for all your Star Wars-y fans that are supporting us out there. Mr. Louseman, we are speaking about It's a Me, a Barrio. Our hashtag, by the way, use It's a Me, Barrio to entice and to encourage and to support a local Mario Kart tournament here in the Tampa Bay area. Louseman, what did you bring to the table?
Ooh, I actually forgot it. It's at the other table. No, I'm joking.
That was a good joke.
Well, thanks. I mean, eventually I'm going to strike on one, but no, absolutely. So
playing those averages.
Well, of course. So yeah, so the new Mario Kart, we've done so many videos about it. I would say like 2 or 3. In its eventuality, it's been an amazing ride. Awesome Mario Kart, very, very true to where it came from. But here's the thing that a lot of people are harping on. You know, can you play what essentially was the same Mario Kart drinking game. And the drinking game is very confusing. It's not so clear as you would think. A lot of people would think, it's a lap for lap or something like that. No. This is way more in depth. So this is a very safe, ruled, I would say, almost standard abiding type of situation where the newest Mario Kart drinking game still applies to Mario Kart 8. And that's what I was very excited to see. A video that only surfaced about a month ago was still playing by the rules of the same Mario Kart drinking game. The rules were, in a nutshell, you have to finish a beer within the matter of that race. So typically about 3 laps. But you had no ability to drink and drive. You had to absolutely stop in order to drink that beer. So every single lap that went by, you had to drink a small portion of that beer. But by the end of the race, you had to drink an entire beer. And you had to be stopped during that portion. Now, that sounds kind of weird. But that sounds kind of weird to most people because, they wouldn't stop and drink a beer. But per this game, you actually had to stop and drink a beer in its entirety by the end of the race. You had all the laps to do so, but you had to finish the entire beer per each race, and then per the end of the cup, that's who decided the winner.
Which I thought was very cool. Like, just to reiterate, essentially you could start the beer as soon as you cross over that finish line, you could slam it, but your cart has to be stopped, physically stopped. So you have to apply brake, stop the cart, and then go once you're done drinking. I think it's really a fun game because the way that we're going to play It's Me Barrio is essentially, if you win that race, you get to continue on. And it'll be a 1-on-1 or a 1-on-3 or a 1-on-2 or whatever it may be. So you'll be playing no AI people, just you and one other dude or lady, it's 2017 out there, and you'll be able to grab. The way we're going to structure it, we're probably going to do this at one of our favorite breweries. Again, we're going to keep this a surprise until we have all the details kind of ironed out. But essentially, what I'm thinking is we'll do 8-ounce cups, and you can fill it up at the bar with whatever you want. Now, there's danger there. You can get an IPA, you can get a triple, you can get 10%, you can get 3%, whatever you want to. But I think you do an 8-ounce cup, and you fill it up at the start of each race. So you, competitor A, go against competitor B. You both have an 8-ounce cup full of beer. You set it down, right? 3, 2, 1. As soon as your cart crosses over the start line, you are then able to drink. Only if your cart is then stopped and stagnant. So it cannot be moving at all. Has to be stopped on the cart path on the track. You can drink a little bit of beer, do a couple laps, drink all your beer, do all the laps. Doesn't matter. By the time that finish flag waves, you have to be done with your beer. And that is the only way you can win, is if you have finished the race and you are out of beer.
Ooh, that actually sounds really complicated, too, because you have a timer between each lap.
Not necessarily. It's no AI. So it's only you and the other players. So if you guys are on the same schedule and everybody says 1, 2, 3, drink, you'll go at the same exact time. The challenge there is your strategy. So if you want to continue on with the game, right, what do? Do you chug it real fast and do a lap? Or do you sip it, do a lap, sip it, do a lap? Because that gives the other guy time to go around. But he may have just smashed his whole beer within the first 25 seconds of the race. Now, these races are 3, 4, 5 minutes long. Louse is going to be a strong contender here because this dude can kill a beer.
Oh, boy.
So,
well, that is me.
Yeah, I don't know. So, again, please, you have ideas, you have thoughts, you want to use the game. Are you playing the game? Be responsible. If you are playing the game, these are the Brewmasters Club rules. Please do hashtag It's a Me Barrio. Make sure you use the hashtag so we know you're playing or you know you like it or you want to just have a round with us. We're going to have a good time. We are doing this very soon. It will happen in the next 2 months. I guarantee it. It is happening this summer here in Tampa. If you want to play Mario Kart with us and have a good time at a local brewery, supporting local beer, hashtag It's a Me Barrio. Boys, thank you so much for this evening. Everybody out there, thank you so much. Where can they find us, guys? Where can they find you, Mr. Lousman?
Ooh, you can actually find Mr. Lousman at Mr. Lousman.
Perfect. And Rye Guy.
Exclamation point. Sorry, that wasn't. I had to finish that. Ryan. You.
Oh,
Keepman.
I was gonna skip him completely because I just go, thanks, Ryan.
Oh, I gave him more kudos just because I thought I ran long. Oh, boy.
Didn't know. I was
Ryan,
muted
you
there.
can stuff yourself now.
Ryan was just talking for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And didn't realize his mic was on mute. That's
Ryan,
fine.
you can go stuff yourself now. Like I get that extra time, right, Donnie?
Oh,
do.
man.
That's all.
All
I'm
that time
right?
is yours, Louse.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, good.
One of us.
Now you can find me on Twitter at BrewedBoy813, but also on Instagram at BrewedBoy813 as well. So you can find me there, and I'm going to post a couple of pictures and some videos of my new brews that are on the way.
And your Periscope, man. I saw that. That was pretty cool.
I was at Marker 48. That was through Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Periscope's through Twitter.
Unfortunately, my battery died on my phone like halfway through. I still had like 3 more beers left, but it was all there, man. It was all fucking there, and it was a great time up there at Market
Awesome.
48.
And again, you can find me at Brewmasters Club. You can find us actually at Brewmasters Club on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. You can use the hashtag at hashtag Brewmasters Club Cast to talk to us at any time, pose questions, get us to give you a shout out, whatever you may want to or do. You can always find us on those outlets there, or subscribe to us on iTunes. Check us out on YouTube as we post these videos too, just to give extra content for folks. We came up on an African music gospel website today, which is interesting. So you can always find us there too, I guess. But either way, we appreciate you guys, and we love you for hanging out with us. So have a good night, be responsible, drink some good craft beer, and stay frosty, my friends, right? Louse, what do we always say at the end of every podcast?
Wash your knickers.
Fuck.
Is that wasn't it.
Fuck.
That was
Fuck. Cheers. Jesus.
I know. It was pretty funny.
So
though.
easy.
There is.
I think Ryan's drunk.
Yeah, I think he's hammered, dude. Because like
Ryan,
he's
how do you get so
literally
shit-faced on a Wednesday?
I went to Mellow Mushroom first.
That's true.
I had
That'll do
the dirty little what do they call that? There's
Petty
some
cab.
Claw. No, it's such a good beer. It's a dirty little something or other, and it's a brown ale with cinnamon, vanilla, chocolate, and something else. It's so good. I had 3 of those.
He just goes. He's just being very honest. He just goes, I had 3 of those.
That's that's quite honest.
You've been listening to the official podcast of the Brewmasters Club, Craft Brews and Geek News. Grab a beer with the guys and be sure to subscribe to catch additional content. Add this podcast to your favorite RSS feed or iTunes. Chat with the guys on Twitter at Brewmasters Club and Facebook and online at www.brewmasters.club. Cheers!